Hola, SAP developers. Welcome to this session, part of the Oktoberfest 2024 integration track. Before we start, please know that you can drop us your questions on the chat window, and we will be monitoring it. We will also have some Q&A at the end of the session, so we will answer all your questions then. And well, today we have Jonas and Jens, who are part of the team that enables the eventing capability in SAP S/4HANA Cloud. They will share with us how we can do source-side filtering of events in SAP S/4HANA Cloud, and also what dynamic topics are and how we can use them for routing and filtering in SAP Integration Suite Advanced Event Mesh. So, without any further delay, hola, Jonas and Jens, over to you guys.
Yeah, thanks, Antonio. And also welcome from my side. As Antonio already said, we show you two different ways of filtering of web business events in SAP BTP ABAP environment. And here you can see a brief overview of what we will show you. Here on the left side, you can see the SAP BTP ABAP environment system that produces some web business events. These web business events are then sent as cloud events here to the right side to the Advanced Event Mesh instance. Okay, so first we will show you source filtering of events. What does it mean? So if you have your rep event, then you can now define filterable properties from the actual payload of the event. So let's say, for example, if there's a field called country code, you can make it filterable. And then in the next step, you can define filter conditions like here. So for example, then country code has to match US or DE. And if this filter condition is not met, then the event is not sent out of the system. So that means if you want to prevent some events to go out, for example, due to data privacy protection issues or something like that, then you can do this that way. Okay, then the second part. So let's say you have your connection here in the ABAP environment system with the integration with the Advanced Event Mesh. So for this part, you need an Advanced Event Mesh channel. Then you can enable dynamic topic filtering. What does it mean? So you can see here, this is the standard topic of the event, plus here at the end, there you can see also a dynamic topic segment, we call it. So that means you can also define here in the ABAP environment for your rep event, again, filterable attributes that should be added from the payload directly at the end of the topic. And you can use then this dynamic topic in the advanced event mesh. Like you can have two different queues or whatever, so that all the events from the US with country code US, for example, go to one queue, and all other events with DE go to another. So if you want to route the events differently, for example, you have a specific consumer that is responsible for all the US events, then it makes totally sense to use this dynamic topic filtering. As a further remark, both features are already available in the current SAP S/4HANA Cloud and also SAP BTP ABAP environment releases. Okay, so let me start with the first part, the source-side filtering of web business events. We will do it that way. I will show you some slides of what you have to do to enable it. And then the second part, Jens will show you a demo how to do it in a real system. Okay, so let's start. First, so you are in your ABAP environment system and you have your rep event. This rep event has a corresponding abstract entity, maybe you know that, where you define your actual payload. So let's say you have here a payload that also contains the field country code. Okay, how does it look now during runtime? So this is a standard event without any filters. You can see here there is in the data part is the country code with value DE, and here in the upper part you can see the header fields of the cloud event. Okay, so the next step, how do you enable this or make this property filterable? Quite easy. You have to add the annotation event context attribute and then give it a name, like X sub country code, for example. And what happens then during runtime? That's shown here below. So again, you have the country code value DE, but now, as you can see here, it's also exposed to the header part. Here under X sub country code, there's an additional context attribute, which also contains the value for the country code. And now this field is filterable. So the next step would be you go to our filter configuration UI, and there you can select all the filterable fields, like X sub country code, and define filter conditions like equals DE or US, for example. Of course, you can also make multiple fields filterable, and then you could also add additional filter conditions here for the additional fields. Okay, so now look again at the runtime. So for example, if you have an event with country code DE, and this then would be published because it would match here the filter condition. Whereas here, if you look on the right side, where you have an event with country code ES, this does not match here the filter condition and would therefore be filtered out, which means if you want to prevent events from going out, for example, due to data privacy protection or for whatever reason you have, then you can define corresponding filter conditions here. And with that, I hand over to Jens, who will show you this in a demo.
All right, thank you, Jonas. And as Jonas said, I will show you how to do this in your system. So practically how it works. So for that, I just built a Fiori application, a very small one at that. And you can see here we have a few fields here like item name, country code, and so on. Maybe it's your list of items you have sold so far. And if you take a look at the capabilities, you can see here, we can create a new item here where we can choose a few from the list and assign a country code. Maybe that's the country you want to ship it to. Okay, so very simple application. And now we want to make sure that only items that should be shipped to DE or to US actually create an event. Now for that, I will hop into my ADT and show you the behavior definition of this Fiori application, of this business object. And you can see I already created here this new event that should be raised whenever one of these items are created. And the parameter or the fields that should be in these events are defined in this abstract entity setD devtober created. Right? And it looks like this. So we want to send the item and the country code with it. And these fields would then be in this data segment, as Jonas has shown. So to make this filterable, I just add this simple line here, event context attribute, and I call it X sub country code in here. And if I activate it, this will then, for all events that are sent out, raise this field property, this field, up into the header and copy the values that are in the payload. And with that, I'm already finished with the coding, and now we have to do some configuration here. I will go to our channel configuration application. It's also a Fiori application. And you can see we already configured this channel here. The connection goes to an advanced event mesh in this case. However, this source-side filtering is available for every event infrastructure that we currently support. You can see here we have an outbound topic, which is the event from my Fiori application. So the events are already raised. And you can also see it has no event filters configured so far. And this means all events are going out. And we want to change that now. So I go into this event binding because you can create these filters on each topic individually. And you can see here my event filter tab, there are no items available. So let's change that by clicking on create event filter. And I can choose here this property. You can see those are the standard header fields. And now, because of this annotation, XSAP country code is also available. So I choose this one and as an option equal and input DE. And let's create another one with US. And you can now see that these event filters are here shown in a list view, but down here you can also see an event filter expression where we try to put it all together into one logical expression. So XSAP country code, the field, should equal to DE or equals to US. And with that, we can head back and we can see, yes, there are now event filters configured. So everything is fine. Now let's try to see if it works actually. And for that, we will use our event monitor, which is also a tool we provided, where you can monitor your events that are outgoing, ingoing, depending on the status. And you can see there are no events on this outbound, on this connection, on this Oktoberfest channel, and we want to change that now. So I'll go into my Fiori application and press create, and I will create a chair, and I want to send that to DE. Now remember, this would match our filter criteria, and therefore it would be sent out. And I press create, and the object was created. That's the first step. That's great. Now let's take a look at our event monitor. And if I hit refresh, we can see indeed there is an outbound event. Here it was also already acknowledged by the event mesh on the other side. And if you take a look in here, especially at the payload, you can see the country code was DE. That's great. And you can also see it was reflected up here in this new header field we created. Now to check if this filter actually works, I want to create another object in here. Let's say I want to ship a cup to Antonio, who lives in Spain, and I create this one and head back over to our event monitor. You can see the number of events hasn't changed. So the event with country code Spain did not match our filter criteria and was therefore filtered. And with that, I will hand back over to Jonas for the second part.
Yeah. Thanks. Or are there any questions, Antonio, right now?
There is one question. So let's address this question. So this is from Johannes. Johannes asks, does this mean that the additional filter option shown is only possible for custom objects built on the BTP ABAP environment, but not on the default objects events provided by SAP S/4HANA Cloud?
Okay, a good question. So you can, of course, also this filtering works for every event in principle. However, for S4 standard events, there's one condition, and namely the actual payload, the abstract entity has to be extensible via metadata extension. So if it is, and I know that some are at least, I'm not 100% sure. So we will, in the future, the goal is to have every event be extensible. So right now there's not every event. And then you could also do the same as Jens showed you. Then you just choose your field in your payload of the standard event and annotate it with the annotation and give it a name. And then you can also use filters.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that. There are no additional questions.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, then thanks, Jens. Then we will continue now with the second part. And the second part is, as I earlier said, about dynamic topic filtering in Advanced Event Mesh. So For that, you definitely need an advanced event mesh channel. But first, what do you have to do to enable the dynamic topics in your source system? In this case, the BTP ABAP environment system. So again, you have your wrap business event with the same abstract entity as before that represent the actual event payload. Again, with the country code field. And you already know this here in the bottom part, that's the cloud event. Okay, so similar to before, you have to add an additional annotation to enable dynamic topic or to enable that the country code is added as an additional segment to the dynamic topic. And it's the first part is the same, again, event context attribute, and then you give it a name, for example, except country code. But additionally, this time you also need to define a position. And why I will explain you now. So if you look on the right side, you can see here the event changed in the same way as before. So the country code is exposed to the header part. But what's also different now, here you can see the topic and created V1 is the standard topic. And at the end now, we added the value of the country code field. And since you could define multiple properties that should be added to the dynamic topic, the position is so important because we need to know at which position after the standard topic we should add the dynamic topic segment for the given property relative to the respective positions. And this is, of course, also important for you because what you want to do in the end is to use this for routing and filtering in the advanced event mesh. And there, of course, you also need to know the exact location of the specific property you want to use as filter. All right, so then this is already everything you have to do in the BTPs for the wrap event. And then there are two steps. So first, Jens will show you later to enable your advanced event mesh channel to use dynamic topics. And the second part is then you can, for example, define two queues, one QUS and one QDE in your advanced event mesh. And now with the new dynamic topics, you can define more advanced filter topic subscriptions. Let's say, for example, here in the US queue, you only want to have events with country code US. So you define this topic subscription accordingly. And the same thing here on the right side, where you want only events with country code DE. So you define the filter, the subscription accordingly. And if you look now here at the lower part, it's runtime. Let's say we have an event with country code US. Then the topic would look like this. So the US part is added here. And this would, of course, then only be persisted on the US queue and not on the DE queue. Whereas another event with country code DE, which is also reflected here in the dynamic topic, would only be persisted on the DE queue. So if you have a consumer that is specific for US country code events, then you can this way route it directly only the US events to this consumer. And with that, I hand over again to Jens, who will show you this in a demo. You're muted. No?
Thank you so far. Now I will show you how to do this again in practice. It's very simple and very helpful in, as Jonas said, routing your events. In this case, I have reverted all the changes we've done in the previous demo. So you can see there are no event filters anymore because we don't want to use source-side filtering now, but we want to send out all the events and then put them into different queues depending on their properties. Okay, so now let's head into my ADT, and you can see I've also removed the annotation here. The annotation is very similar. What we need, again, is this position statement here. This is due to the fact, as Jonas said, you could have multiple dynamic topic segments, and we need to know at which position which one should be put, so you can order them in the way you need them. So if I now activate this, I will head back into our channel configuration app, and you can see this flag, use dynamic topic. Now, this is only available for connections to the Advanced Event Mesh, because the Advanced Event Mesh is the only one supporting this so far. And you can also see here this button, Enable Dynamic Topics, which is, again, also only enabled for Advanced Event Mesh channels. And if I hit this one here, you can see it's working. And you can see that something has changed. Namely, the topic in here now contains this dynamic topic schema. So the topic until V1 is the one we had previously, and now we have this dynamic topic segment X sub country code. Now, in this part, we are during our design time, configuration time. We do not know what exactly is in here, so that's why we put this schema in here, so you can see first it's sub-country code, and the second one would be item name or something, depending on your configuration. And now that's everything I need to do on our S4 side. And now I will head back over to our Advanced Event Mesh instance. And here you can see I'm in the Advanced Event Mesh instance now, and I've already pre-configured two queues, one for DE and one for US. And if we go in and check the subscriptions, you can see that's exactly the topic we have with DE. Now, there are no curly brackets because this isn't the actual value we want to subscribe to. And for the US, it's just similar or the same thing, except for US in the end. Now, that's everything that needs to be done, actually. So now let's test this, if this works. Now, if I create a new plate, let's say, for the US, and I hit create, we can again see in our Event Monitor app, if I press refresh, there is a second event here, and you can see also the outbound event tab here has changed to signify this topic schema here, so you know there are dynamic topics in place. And if we take a look at this event here, we can see the dynamic topic segment was indeed /US, so you have to substitute that into your in the top here. And if we take a look at the payload, it's exactly the same as before. We have our X sub country code, which is lifted to the header, and also the country code US in here. Now let's take a look at our queues. And you can see, indeed, one message has reached the US queue. Just to be complete, we do the same thing again for a chair that goes towards Germany, country code DE. I'll create it. Take a look here, and you can see there is the third event now here. The dynamic topic segment is indeed /DE. And if we refresh it here, you can see this message has reached the DE queue here. And with that, you have a very powerful and quite simple to use tool to do your event routing. And with that, I hand back over to Jonas.
Yes, thanks, Jens. And with that, we are at the end of our presentation. So here we also have some further information for you, some links on the left side to the SAP help portal of what we showed you. So here at the top, the maintained filters for outbound event topics part, the source side filtering, and at the bottom, the dynamic topics for Advanced Event Mesh. And in the middle, we have some blog posts of how to create wrap business events or how to integrate with the Advanced Event Mesh. And on the right, some further tutorials for SAP developers, again, on how to create wrap business events, or also how to maintain filters for outbound event topics, what Jens showed you in the first part. And with that, I want to thank you and questions.
Yes. Well, thank you very much for the demo for the so my first question is to Jens. When should I expect to receive that cup that you bought for me, Jens, as part of your demo?
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
kidding.
Unfortunately, the event was filtered out, so
Oh no.
my processing system did not get the information that they should deliver a cup to you, unfortunately.
That's a very, very, very good answer. So I shouldn't expect a cup. Okay, that's clear to me. Thank you. Okay, so I do have some serious questions. So I have here, and I was able to answer some, but let's see if there's maybe something that you can show us. So Naresh mentioned, so right now we don't have extensions for standard events. So I think that Jonas did mention that about, yes, it is possible to extend some standard events as part of the presentation. Is there anything else that you want to add to that, Jonas?
Yeah, so we also plan to make this a bit more easier. So to use source side filtering in the S4 system, so that you can, in principle, so that's our plan. We just right now looking into it, to that you can use every field of the payload as as filterable property, and without this additional annotation what Jens showed you. So then it wouldn't be in the header part, of course, but you could use it as filter in the filter UI. But this is, yeah, we're currently working on this, so not sure when we will release that.
Exciting, exciting. I'm definitely
Mm.
looking forward to that. Now, what about, so there's a question from Johannes, which is, could you show how to check whether the standard event is extensible or not? So I end up replying to that also, like there was something that we end up preparing as part of TechEd where this was shown, but I don't know if you have handy there where that can be checked. I know that in ADT you're able to check it if it's a release object, but is there anywhere else where we can see that?
So so far as I know, it's currently not possible, but we are also working on that. And I think this maybe already the next release, this should be also shown in the accelerator hub, but I'm
Okay.
not 1% sure. But yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So in the end, some business objects will end up having what's called a behavior definition, right? As part of the release in ADT in the release objects, you'll find the behavior definition, and if it has a behavior definition which includes events, then you'll be able to extend them. But yeah, it's not
Yeah, that's
that
true.
easily.
Yeah.
It's not that easily visible, right? Like
No.
I know that, for example, you can do it for customer material, you can do it for sales order, but yeah, there's no like easy place to find all business objects that are available. That is true. But well, good to know that it will be in the business accelerator hub, which is
So
basically
that's
where
the
you're
plan. Yeah,
expecting it.
that's the
Yeah.
plan.
Well, that's the plan. Yeah, that's true. But
Yeah.
it's the central place where we expect to see all the sort of accessibility, right? Options that we have
Yeah.
for different systems. So that's good to know that at least it's a plan. That being said, do check out that video that I linked in the chat, Johannes, sorry, because that will give you a clue of where to find that. There is one more question from Martin, which says, will dynamic topics be also available in S/4HANA on-premise? And seems like this is part of our RISE with SAP. If
Yes.
yes, yeah, also
So,
in 2023, he's asking.
yes, good question. So initially we released the Advanced Event Mesh integration with 2023. So we also now downported the feature with Service Pack 2. So if you upgrade your 2023 system to Service Pack 2, then you can use also dynamic topics.
There you go. And because you're keeping a clean code, then upgrading is not a problem, right, Martin? So so that would be simple update process. We don't have any additional questions. Yeah, anything else that you guys want to add, Jonas or Jens?
Oh, it was a pleasure to present our features, and yeah,
Yes.
we're
Thanks for
always
the
looking forward
opportunity.
to improve it. So customer feedback is also always very welcome. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Martin is saying that's awesome. Thank you very much. So, well, I also want to thank you, Jonas and Jens, well, you know what, sharing your knowledge and expertise in this session. I've learned a lot from it. Definitely, I'm not that familiar with the SAP BTP ABAP environment, and it's good to know that you're able to create those events there and how to easily basically filter all those events and also creating those dynamic topics, right? So that's pretty cool. I also want to thank the viewer for joining the live event. You know, we had quite a few concurrent viewers, so thank you very much for joining. Or for you if you're watching the recording. So also thank you very much for watching the recording of this session. And just a quick reminder that there is plenty for everyone to learn as part of DevToolFest. So make sure to check out other sessions. We have 2 more sessions as part of the integration track today. Still very much with the topic of event-driven architectures, and we will talk about SAP Cloud Application Event Hub, which formerly was known as SAP Event Broker for SAP Cloud Applications. And we also have another session focusing on the different event sources that there are for SAP Integration Suite Advanced Event Mesh. So make sure to check out those sessions. And that's all. Thank you very much for joining, and see you in other sessions later today.
Yep. Bye.
Ciao. Bye-bye. Excellent. So I've stopped the stream